Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 19, Text 22. We already read the Sanskrit. I'll just read the translation. Then the great hero Vijitashrva, the son of King Pṛthu, again took the horse and returned to his father's sacrificial arena. Since that time, certain men with a poor fund of knowledge have adopted the dress of a false sannyasi. It was King Indra who introduced this. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Since time immemorial, the sannyas order has carried the Tridanda. Later, Shankaracharya introduced the Ekadandi sannyas. A Tridandi sannyasi is a Vaishnava sannyasi, and an Ekadandi sannyasi is a Mayavad sannyasi. So, Tridandi, as the name suggests, there are three dandas. It's covered by saffron cloth. Outside it looks one, but inside there are three. So there's a difference between Vaishnava sannyasi and the Mayavad sannyasi in the sense that the Tridandi, the Vaishnava sannyasis, have three dandas inside, and Shankaracharya's followers have one danda, so they are called Ekadandi. There are many other types of sannyasis who are not approved by Vedic rituals. So these are the two which are approved by the Vedas, the scriptures. A type of pseudo-sannyas was introduced by Indra when he tried to hide himself from the attack of Vijitashrva, the great son of King Pṛthu. Now, there are many different types of sannyasis. Some of them go naked, and some of them carry a skull and trident, generally known as kapalika. All of them were introduced under some meaningless circumstances, and those who have a poor fund of knowledge accept these false sannyasis and the pretenses, although they are not bona fide guides to spiritual advancement. At the present moment, some missionary institutions, without referring to the Vedic rituals, have introduced some sannyasis who engage in sinful activities. The sinful activities forbidden by Shastras are illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. These so-called sannyasis indulge in all these activities. They eat meat and flesh, fish, eggs, and just about everything. They sometimes drink with the excuse that without alcohol, fish, and meat, it is impossible to remain in the cold countries near the Arctic zone. The sannyasis introduce all these sinful activities in the name of serving the poor, and consequently, poor animals are cut to pieces and go into the bellies of these sannyasis. As described in the following verses, such sannyasis are pakhandis. Vedic literature states that a person who puts Lord Narayan on the level with Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma immediately becomes a pakhandi. So the demigods are parts and parcels of Krishna. They are not on the same level of Krishna. But then Prabhupada is pointing out that currently, people take this dress of a sannyasi very cheaply, and they might indulge in activities which are not approved by someone who's wearing this saffron dress. As stated in the Puranas, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Devate Samatvene Va Viksheta Sapasandi Bhavetruvam. In Kali Yuga, the Pakhandis are very prominent. However, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has tried to kill all these Pakhandis by introducing his Sankirtana movement. Those who take advantage of this Sankirtana movement of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness will be able to save themselves from the influence of these Pakhandis. So, because we can see that Prabhupada is giving us the scriptures as it is, the knowledge of the scriptures, trying to make us understand this is Lord Chaitanya's movement. And what does it mean, try to kill all these Pakhandis, introducing Sankirtana movement? Because the demon and the divine both are staying in the same body in Kali Yuga. We have both the demoniac qualities as well as the divine qualities. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, our demoniac qualities get reduced. We can actually give up all this demoniac qualities just by chanting the holy name offenselessly. That's what is the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya. In Kali Yuga, he does not kill the demon, but kills the demoniac tendency in us. Otherwise, he would have killed all of us. Nobody would be alive right now. Are there any questions or comments on what we just read?
What do they do with the dandas? I mean, that.
Or they
Yeah. Any
hold on it.
significance?
Actually, the Tridandi, the Vaishnava sannyasi, it's like a vow that they're taking that they will serve the Supreme Lord with their mind, body, and words. That's why they have the three danda inside. That from that day on, from the day they're taking sannyas, with their mind, body, and words, they completely are going to engage in the service of the Lord. And so they have the danda to remind them of their vow.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I'm reading one. Yani rupani jagre indro haya jihirshaya tani papasya khandani lingam khandam ihochyate. Whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant, because of his desire to seize the horse, were symbols of atheistic philosophy. According to Vedic civilization, sannyas is one of the essential items in the program of the Varna Sharma institution. One should act sannyas according to the parampara system of the acharyas. So, Vedic society was brahmachari, grihast, vanaprast, and sannyas. That's the Vedic system. At the present moment, however, many so-called sannyasis or mendicants have no understanding of God consciousness. Such sannyas was introduced by Indra because of his jealousy of Maharaj Pṛthu, and what he introduced is again appearing in the age of Kali. So this was started by Indra. He was not a sannyasi, but still he put on the robes of a sannyasi. And he was in fact stealing the horse because of his envy. And so we can see that there are many personalities now in the age of Kali who don't follow the principles of sannyas, but they wear the clothes of a sannyasi. Practically none of the sannyasis in this age are bona fide. No one can introduce any new system into the Vedic way of life. If one does so out of malice, he is to be known as a pasandi or atheist. In the Vaishnava Tantra, it is said. So, because we may manufacture our own ways, but actually, religion or all these Vedic systems, we cannot manufacture. It is what it is. It's given to us by God. We simply have to follow it. But because we don't want to follow the orders of God, we imagine so many different things, and we follow those things. Or we follow those who are following those things, not mentioned in the scriptures, not according to the Vedas. So the Vaishnav Tantra, Yastu Narayanam Devam, Brahma Rudradi Devate, Samat Veneva Viksheta Sapasandi Bhavidruvam. Although it is forbidden, there are many pasandis who coin terms like Daridra Narayan and Swami Narayan. Although not even such demigods as Brahma and Shiva can be equal to Narayan. So even Lord Brahmaji is not equal to Lord Vishnu, Narayan. Even Lord Shiva is not equal to Lord Narayan. So how can ordinary living entities be equal to Narayan? And it is forbidden in the scriptures, such things. Yet people come up with the terms Daridra Narayan. Some people say Daridra Narayan, that the poor person is a Daridra Narayan. But no, Lord Narayan is the richest. The whole world belongs to him. How can he be a poor man? Or somebody calls himself that I am Narayan. But no, we cannot. Only God is God. We cannot be equal to God. Evam indre harati ashvam venya yagya jighamsaya tad grihita visreshteshu akhandeshu matir nirnam dharma iti upadharmeshu nagna rakta patadishu prayena satyate Brantya Peshal Leshu Mishu. In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from King Pṛthu's sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyas. Some sannyasis go naked, and sometimes they wear red garments and pass under the name of Kapalika. These are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they're all godless atheists and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they're only passing as adherents of religion and are not so in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted to them, they spoil their life. So this is what Bhagavatam is saying. Indra started this, that he's took up so many different dresses of sannyasis. But Bhagavatam is saying what? That this is all unauthorized. It is just to put up an excuse of not believing in God, not following God's orders, supporting atheism. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, men in this age of Kali are short-lived, devoid of spiritual knowledge, and susceptible to accept false religious systems due to their unfortunate condition. So Bhagavatam says that we are short-lived, we are unfortunate, quarrelsome. This is the age of Kali. Thus, they always remain mentally disturbed. Yeah, mentally disturbed. Yeah, our minds drive us crazy. I mean, whoa, this is a symptom of age of Kali. In the before ages, the mind used to not be so disturbed. So much anxiety, so much mental distress. The Vedic Shastras practically prohibit the adoption of sannyas in the age of Kali because less intelligent men may accept the sannyas order for cheating purposes. So this is the reason why sannyas, Ekadandi sannyas, is forbidden in this age of Kali. Although it's authorized, but it's not for the age of Kali. Why? Because we all have a tendency to cheat. Vaishnav sannyas is allowed. That is allowed. Actually, the only religion is the religion of surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, his last instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me, Krishna says. And I shall take care of all your sinful reactions. Do not fear. So surrender unto Krishna. That's the only religion. We must serve the Lord in Krishna consciousness. All other systems of sannyas and religion are actually not bona fide. In this age, they are simply passing for religious systems. This is most regrettable. Yeah, it's true, there are many different types of religious systems coming up, but are they bona fide? Are they authorized? Are they coming in the disciplic succession? We should be careful. Tad abhigyaya Bhagavan Pṛthu Parakrama Indraya Kupito Banam Adato Dyata Karmukha. Maharaj Pṛthu, who was celebrated as very powerful, immediately took up his bow and arrows and prepared to kill Indra himself, because Indra had introduced such irregular sannyas orders. It is the duty of the king not to tolerate the introduction of any irreligious systems, since King Pṛthu was an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Certainly his duty was to cut down all kinds of irreligious systems. So, Indra really started this unauthorized sannyas systems, and he created a havoc because there are so many of those now in this age of Kali. We like to misuse, we are rebellious. We like to challenge the order of God. That's the reason we are here in the material world. So, following in his footsteps, all heads of state should themselves be bona fide representatives of God and should cut down all irreligious systems. Unfortunately, they are cowards who declare a secular state. Such a mentality is a way of compromising religious and irreligious systems. But because of this, citizens are generally becoming uninterested in spiritual advancement. Thus, the situation deteriorates to such an extent that human society becomes hellish. So Prabhupada is pointing out that as Pṛthu Maharaj was ready to kill Indra because of this irreligion that Indra was supporting, that the leaders of society should do the same so that people can become religious, people can take to spiritual life. Any questions or comments till now?
No, all good.
Okay. Tam Ritvaja Shakravadha Visanditam
Tam Ritvija Shakravata Panditam
Vichaksha Dushprekshayam Asahaya Ramhasam
Vichakshadushpreksham Asayaram Hasam
Nivarayama Aho Mahamate
Nivarayam Asur Aho Mahamate
Nayujyate Atranaya Vada Prachodita.
Nayujyate Atranyavata Prachodita.
When the priests and all others saw Maharaj Pṛthu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, "Oh, great soul, do not kill him, for only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice. Such are the directions given by Shastra. Animal killing is intended for different purposes. It tests the proper pronunciation of Vedic mantras, and an animal being put into the sacrificial fire should come out with a new life. No one should ever be killed in a sacrifice meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. How then could Indra be killed when he is actually worshipped in the yajna and accepted as a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Therefore, the priests requested King Pṛthu not to kill him. So these animal sacrifices which would happen was not to kill the animal. Never was any animal killed in the sacrifice. The animal was put in the fire, but from the fire, the same animal, the same soul would get a newer body, rejuvenated. After all, Lord Vishnu is there, all the demigods are there. How can they allow some innocent being to be killed? So what they are saying that even the animals are not killed, so how can you kill Indra? And Indra, he gets a share of the sacrifice, no? He's one of the demigods. So after Lord Vishnu has taken his share, Indra gets his share. So they're telling King Pṛthu, don't kill him. This is a sacrificial arena. Vayam marutvantamihārthanāshanam.
Vayam marutvantam ihartanashanam.
Vavyāmahetva shravasa tvisham.
Haya mahitvacharavasahata tvisham.
Ayatayamo bahaver anantaram.
Ayatayatmo pahavir anantaram.
Prasaya rajan juhavamate ahitam.
Prasaya rajan juhavamate ahitam.
Dear King, Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede the execution of your sacrifice. You shall call him by Vedic mantras, which were never before used, and certainly he will come. Thus, by the power of our mantra, we shall cast him into the fire because he is your enemy. By chanting the Vedic mantras properly in a sacrifice, one can perform many wonderful things. In Kali Yuga, however, there are no qualified brahmanas who can chant the mantras properly. Consequently, no attempt should be made to perform such big sacrifices. In this age, the only sacrifice recommended is the Sankirtana movement. So, mantra, like how you can control the snake by the mantra. Like that, the brahmanas are saying, we know this month, we can chant some mantras by which Indra will come by himself. They were so expert in chanting the mantras. That's how they would call the different demigods, no? So, and they're saying we'll put him in the fire. But in this age of Kali, it's not recommended to perform these big, big fire sacrifices. No, there's no way can we get perfection of life by performing this fire sacrifice. The only way, the only sacrifice that's recommended in this age of Kali is what is the only sacrifice? Sankirtana. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the only way of perfection in this Kali Yuga. Iti amantraya kratupatim.
Iti amantriya kratupatim.
Vidurasya tvijorusha.
Vidurasya tvijorusha.
Yog srugastan juvato abhyetya.
Srugastan juhavato abhyetya.
Swayambhu pratyashedhata.
Swayam pratyashedata.
My dear Vidur, after giving the king this advice, the priests who had been engaged in performing the sacrifice called for Indra, the king of heaven, in a mood of great anger. When they were just ready to put the oblation in the fire, Lord Brahma appeared on the scene and forbade them to start the sacrifice. So they were so powerful. They chanted the mantras, Indra had to come, and they were going to start putting the oblations, and Brahma has come down. Navadyo bhavatam Indro.
Navadyo bhavatam Indro.
Yad yagyo bhagavattanu.
Yad yagyo bhagavattanu.
Yam jigham satha yagnena.
Yam jigam satha yajnena.
Yasyeshtastanava suram.
Yasyestastanava sura.
Lord Brahma addressed them thus, my dear sacrificial performers, you cannot kill Indra, the king of heaven. It is not your duty. You should know that Indra is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, he's one of the most powerful assistants of the personality of Godhead. You are trying to satisfy all the demigods by the performance of this yajna, but you should know that all these demigods are but parts and parcels of Indra, the king of heaven. How then can you kill him in this great sacrifice? So Brahmaji is saying, Indra is such a great personality. He's after all the king of heaven. He's the king of all the demigods. So how can you kill him? You're doing a sacrifice to please the demigods and you're going to kill their leader. How is that going to be possible? And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am Indra, when he's speaking about his vibhutis and he's speaking about his opulences. So then we have to stop here for today. Time is almost up. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay. So
Srimad
even they
Bhagavatam.
had mistakes. They did. They were baffled also. Didn't know what to do. There's so much confusion.
Yeah, exactly. Now Brahma is come, he's telling them, oh, how can you kill Indra? Can't kill him.
Mm.
So we'll continue tomorrow to hear what's happening. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.